Well, I've just finished Automotive Hell Week this week. I drove my Plymouth to work Wednesday and got there fine, went to lunch and back fine, left after work, ran a few errands, and I was sitting at a traffic light getting ready to turn to come home, and it just quit. Dead as can be and wouldn't start. Just, spin, spin, spin. So I was able to coast through the intersection and got to a gas station. I'm not going to call it a service station because there's no service available there. And checked everything I could check, under the hood, connections and that kind of thing, and couldn't find anything wrong, and it wasn't out of gas. And the lady there would not let me use the phone, so I had to end up, my cell phone was down, so I ended up having to walk 1.5 miles to the store I was just at, and then 1.5 miles back and call a wrecker. Got it home and everything, and I've just been doing some troubleshooting, and it was pretty quick to find out that this box over here, which is the ECU, ignition, electronic control unit, whatever you want to call it, but it's the little brain that runs the ignition, burned up. That's the old one over there. So, if I had a spare one, I could have, which I did as a matter of fact. This is the spare one, is the one I had off of something else. It's fairly new. If I'd have had that, I could have fixed it on the side of the road and not had to waste $65 for a tow bill, but I didn't. So, but I guarantee that's the last time I'll drive this car without a spare one of these. 2 screws and 3 screws, and that's it. So that's a lesson learned right there. So anyway, I replaced the box and got it running. And the other thing that happened during Automotive Hell Week was I went out yesterday to come home from work, and the truck wouldn't start. The battery went completely dead on it. Just went totally out. So, we barely even got it jumped off, so I had to go get a battery for it, and that was $95. So I've spent around $160 this week just on these 2 vehicles. So anyway, the car's running good now. But something, I was checking in the distributor, and I've got the distributor out of it, as you can see here. Back there's where it goes. It's real easy to take out on these cars. And I decided to change distributors, and I'll show you why. Here. It's a beautiful day. This is the weekend of the 4th. This is the 2nd, I think, today. Alright, here we are. Now, here's a distributor I had in there, and this is something I got from the junkyard when I put the engine together and put the car together. I just grabbed one out of starting already. Anyway, just grabbed it out of a car. It was out of a 73 or 70, I think this was a 74 Dart, and it's been working good, and there's no problems with this distributor. But something I noticed, this is the this, and here's one that's out already. This is the pickup module. As that little stator rotates, it creates a magnetic field there on that, and that creates a low voltage spark, and that goes out to that aforementioned ECU. That's how the ignition works on these. But I noticed something, that if you look, this is a screw that holds it in right here, and if you look, peek down back in there, you see that it looks like a little rivet type of a thing, like right there. That's, if you look on this one, by my foot down there, that's right there. And if this had failed, I couldn't have gotten this, I couldn't have gotten this out on the side of the road. It's riveted in, which it did not fail. But you see what I'm saying, there wouldn't be any way to fix this. There'd be another tow bill. So this is a distributor here that came out of the engine that was in that brown Duster. It's a 75, but for all intents and purposes, it's the same distributor, just the number's different on them. And so what I'm going to do is, it's working fine also, but they've modified this one already back here so that you can get the pickup module, which that's a replacement also, out just by taking the screw out on the side of the road. So if it ever breaks, then you can just replace it right there, because like I said, you always need to carry spares of these things. I don't know why these tend to be unreliable, but we were burdened with that. So, and this one, since it's a 73, it's actually a late 73. This is the date code on it right here, 5/1 of 3. That's the 51st week of 73. So it's a little late, but this is the right part number for a 73-318, which is going to go back in the 73 dart back here. So you see what I'm getting at. I want to be this is kind of original and all that. And I don't know yet what I'll do about this. I may modify this one also to get that, be able to get that out, because you have to take this reluctor off, and then you have to take this plate off. These are two plates right here. You can see the first, the rusty one, and the second not rusty version of the plate there. There's two. That's called the upper and lower plates, and to get that thing out. So it's not something you can fix on the side of the road. So that's why I'm going to put this one back in. It looks a little greasier and all that shit, but it's good. The shaft's tight on it and everything, so it should work fine. And I think the vacuum canister on this one's busted and this one's not. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just slip that back in. I'm curious about these. I love date codes on stuff. If you look on this one, this is a different part number, 3874090, and this one was manufactured the 38th week of 1974, so that'd be late, you know, that's what, 14 weeks before the end of the year, so roughly a month and a half or so. No, that wasn't right. Wait, about 2.5 months. Yeah, so sometime in October of 74. So anyway, and somebody asked me why they use a different color tag on them. The only answer I got for you is they felt like it. So anyway, I'm gonna get this all back together and put this in and everything. These are easy to put in the right way because they got all they do. They got a slot on them down here where that fits in. So it's really hard to screw it up. You either can get it in the rotor point in the right way, or you have the rotor point 180 degrees out. It's not like with a gear on the end of it where you can just keep rotating it and get it to tooth off and a tooth off and two tooth off and all that stuff. You can't do it on one of these. So they're real easy for the novice to put in the right way. And I got some other things coming up too. I'm going to start in on this car. I've got to do the big disassembly on the suspension, so I'll be doing that. But right now I'm going to finish up the Plymouth, and I'm telling you, I'm not going to drive that car another foot out of this neighborhood until I have a spare box for it and another spare ignition pickup. And I'm not paying $70 for a tow for something like that again. Alright guys, have a good one. Happy 4th and have fun. See ya. Okay, I had to end up taking this distributor apart because there's my book. When I was putting the module back in here, I kept noticing that it would not sit evenly next to the here's the reluctor. It would not sit evenly next to this. It was kind of just tilted, you know. It wasn't right. So I figured something had to be bent, and sure enough, this plate right here where they had let me find it. Yeah, there's the locator. It's supposed to be a rivet, but it's not. It's just a a stud now since they modified it, which was a good modification. Got a mosquito trying to attack me. But where they had drilled down in here, they had bent this plate. It was bent down, so that's why the pickup was sitting strangely. So give us a little bit of a cleanup and put it back together. It's not hard to take these apart, really. You just pull this off and take the vacuum advance out and take the two plates out. So not hard at all. But anyway, that was that so far. I'm going to put this back together and see how she does. Okay, back together again. Finally running. Hopefully this will be the end of this crap. I got the distributor put in the right way this time. I had the wires on the caps one terminal over too far, and it was making me That conveyance canister was jammed under the coil right here. Pointing right under here, so that's not right. It's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be like you see it right there. Hopefully this sucker will stay running now. Tired of working on it. It's fun for a while, but now I'm tired of it. So I want to do something else. Let it run here a little bit and put the hood down and let it warm up and take it for a little test drive and see what's up. I got one more problem I'm going to address on this. And this thing it's losing about 2 volts between the battery and the ignition system. And the reason I'm sure is because this has this old-fashioned electrical system that routes all the power through the ammeter in here. Every bit of the car's power comes through here. You can see when I turn the lights on, it's all that. So that's got to be what it is. Just a long run of wire, and plus it goes through that bulkhead connector down on the firewall, and those are notorious on these for you know, getting a lot of resistance in them, and they can burn up. Actually, I've seen pictures of one that have actually melted and all that crap. So I'm going to do the bypass mod on these, and that's basically all that is you take the where the alternator charging stud is, and you take the wire, you disconnect the factory wire off of it and tape it up, and you run a new heavy gauge wire around just directly to the battery, to the battery stud over here on the starter solenoid, and you let it charge that way. And you got to put a fusible link in there, so if something were to happen, you know, it's not going to burn the car down. And that disables your alternator, but oh well. You can get a voltmeter, you know, put in here somewhere to keep a tab on things, but it should charge better and get all the voltage back where it should, because that could have been part of what killed that box out there, is that box wasn't getting enough voltage. And they may not like to work that way. I think I'm going to keep this ignition tester in here in case I need that again. I hope I don't, but you never know. Damn thing. Welcome to the world of old cars. Alright guys, I'm going to go in and cool down for a little bit, and I guess I'm going to come out here and get this 73 Dart up on jack stands and start on it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. I was looking at this old control box that apparently burned up, and something of interest here. A lot of people have complained about these boxes being made in foreign countries and things like that. Well, although the transistor on here, which is this thing here, says Malaysia, this part here is made in USA. I don't know if that just means the heat sink was made in USA or what, but I don't know. But this, you know, this one didn't melt. A lot of these times, a lot of these things, these boxes will get too hot and this crap will melt like this, but they'll still work. I don't know how I'm going to get that crap off there. That's the original for this car, and I would not be surprised if it still works. Let's see. Yep, you see the date code right there, 087 of 3. That's probably the 87th day of 73, because this car was built I forget how to read that. I think that's the 27th day of 73 or the 27th week. Not sure of that. I can't remember right now, but whatever. That's the original. It's crazy. I've seen some of these cars that have all the original parts on them still working. Like that car still got the starter. I still have that's still the original starter over there from 1973, and that's the original transmission that came in this car. That ain't the original engine, but that's the original transmission. Numbers matching, and you can see how bad it looks, but the inside of it's clean as a pin. You just can't kill these torque flights. Alright, thank you for watching. Next.